You guys want to get this show rolling then, or what?
Yeah, man. Let's kick this bad boy off. Who's hosting this shindig?
You are, Mike. Good luck.
Hard work, work. There you go. Hard work, work. Everybody doing it right. Hard work, work. Hard work. That's what they say. Hard work, work, work. Earn more pay. Hard work, work. Hard work. Do it every day. Hard work, work. Get up out of 2:45. Hard work, work. To go and earn more pay. Hard work, work. Put the boots on and lace them up. Hard work, work. Another day to work. Hard work, hard work. That's what they say. Hard work, hard work. I earn my pay. Hard work, work. Move on now.
Attention in the talk. What's going on, you beautiful sons of bitches? Evo keeps sucking that dick. You look good doing it. This is the talk, collection of dummy, fake idiots talking about damn near anything and everything with a military twist. What's going on, everybody? I am Sleeveless Mike. To my right, Evo down below. I got Coop. Bottom right corner, we got the Ginger. It's been a little while since we've done one of these. We're going to hopefully do more, at least one every month. We're going to talk about that a little bit after the show, boys. We got to come up with a schedule because we have got to put these out. I know that I need it. I think that you guys need it as well. But there's been so much shit that has happened since the last time that we talked. We had an election.
We are currently living in the golden age right now.
Hell yeah, we are. Hell yeah.
Who knew?
Who knew? Guys, holy shit, we got so much stuff to talk about. Evo, you've been traveling a ton. How was the travel? I know that we talked a little bit about it on the Line and Lounge, but traveling back and forth between Colorado and Arizona is a long fucking ways, man.
Yeah, like I, loved flying when I was a kid. Like going on vacations and flying, like it was the allure of like getting the little pretzels and stuff like that. Like it was cool. And then as I got older, joined the army, I just fucking hate flying now. It's just a pain in the ass. I hate the fucking airports. Shove the little pretzels up your ass. The biscotti cookies are still pretty fucking good, but like I hate that shit, right? And now it's gotten to the point like I hate fucking driving places. And so unfortunately, Death in the family had to go to Colorado Springs. It's about a 12-hour drive. I've been making it in 11 and a half, even with pee-pee breaks and gas. But, having to go to Colorado, back home, a couple times in like a 3-week time span, that was rough, especially when I was doing it on a timeline in order to get the woman back so she could be back for her job. Got in at 7:30 in the morning, and then she went to work at 8 type thing. So she slept the whole way, to say the least. But yeah, it's a lot of driving and drastically different weather changes. Like I got to live my country when I was there in Colorado, running the John Deere tractor and clearing snow. And then I'm back here in Arizona where it was 88 today and sunny and nice. So yeah, drastic weather changes. But it's good to be back here with you fellas talking smack. If only the audience could see the conversations of the pre-show. Yeah.
We'll save those to be released at some other point. There's always going to be some good content in there.
Reserved for the Patreon.
Reserved for the Patreon for sure. But we'll talk more about air travel here in a little bit, Evo. But Coop, my man, Bama, how is Bama treating you? The family looks good, with the exception of your boy. It was terrible to hear about Malachi's arm, man. I hope he is ready for surgery and then hopefully very quick and full recovery.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now surgery on Thursday. So we're pretty confident he's gonna recover real quick. So and he's ready to get into PT and start getting his arm ready to go. But other than that, I mean, sports are coming to an end for the winter sports. So things are finally getting a little died down in the Cooper household for sure. Me and Lacey are sitting around like, oh, what do we fucking do today? It's like a Thursday and we don't have nothing going on. Or you like watch TV or something or what, onto your thing, Evo, I feel that plane travel, mine has slipped into a little bit of like I feel like I'm more aware of my mortality the older I fucking get, right? Like I get inside that little tuna can. Well, I guess more longer than that, but, and I just feel, yeah, right. Claustrophobic, dude. Like I do not like being in planes anymore. Like, and then I feel like a little bitch. It all started from my first MRI, and I almost had a panic attack in that when they were doing my head.
Because
So
your
yeah,
head's fucking massive, man.
I fucking know, dude. But dude, have you had your head in an MRI?
Yes.
I've had many
They
an
fucking-
MRI.
Yeah, they lock that
Don't make
shit
me
in.
get up and show you the massive scar on my stomach.
Bro.
I have military grade knees and back.
Well, no. So I don't know that I've only had my head scanned. And when they scan your head, I don't know if they did this to you guys, but they fucking put like a neck brace and a head brace on you,
Yep.
right?
Lock
They
you in.
put you in a cage.
Yep.
And then the first two I had, they gave me headphones, at least with music, right? And they put you in there, and I'm like, just listen to music, like don't bitch out, don't press the fucking red button, just get this over with. The last one I had, they didn't give me shit, dude. They gave me like 3M earplugs. You know those shits don't work, and that was it. And I'm in there like fucking like there's no way they got a good scan because I was not still. I was not okay. And I got out and they're like, well, we're gonna have to do it again with contrast. I'm like, reschedule it.
No
Never went
fucking
back.
way we're doing that. now.
Never fucking went back.
Dude, I
Nice.
Sedate my ass.
I love MRIs because
Fuck
I
no.
always schedule them for like 10 o'clock in the morning. So I get to leave work and I get to have a fucking like 30-minute power nap. Like
Yeah.
you lay me down there and I'm all tucked in, and they normally will make it like warm blanket or something like that. I get
Get the warm.
the headphones too, and I zonk like immediately. Just that rhythmic thumping, the dun 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 dun. I'm out. It's good.
Like
It's
a
great.
metronome going.
It is fucking fantastic for me. I love it. But hey, on notes about your son with the hurt arm, I did finally watch the video. I didn't want to. I watched it.
It's gnarly, dude.
It is gnarly.
I'm not watching it.
It's so bad.
Your reaction was funny. Oh, that's not good.
Dude.
Like his
All
arm
right.
folds under and you go like, that's not good.
Well, so here's the thing, dude. Byron, did you see it?
No, where's this video at?
I'm gonna fucking send it to you right now. So where I'm watching it and he falls down, right? No one's seen his arm. No one's seen the injury, not the ref, not the coach. Nobody's seen it. We just seen him tap. And when I seen him tap, I was like, oh fuck, that's not good. Something's wrong. No one knew what was going on, right? And hold on, I'm gonna send it over to you.
See, I knew what to look for, what arm and everything. And so I was watching that arm like a hawk. And then when I saw it go the wrong way, I was like, uh-oh. And then you immediately go,
Uh-oh.
that's not good.
Bro, it was here, Byron. I'm sending it to you right now. Yeah. So Malachi, you seen him in the video, he's just like holding his arm, like looking around, not making a fucking sound, right? Typical Malachi. And the medic gets over there, and I get down there, and he's like, Dad, I felt my arm go floppy. It like went floppy behind my back, and then it kind of like popped back into place. I'm like, okay, this isn't good. The medic's like, yeah, he probably just strained something. It's not because it went immediately back in, you know? So he probably just strained something or something like that. And you can go to the hospital, but they're just going to give him some Motrin. So you can do whatever you want. And I'm like, okay, this is, I don't know what to do at this point. And he's like, Dad, it kind of hurts bad. I'm like, okay. So I finally look back to the video in slow motion. I'm like, oh fuck, we're going to the hospital immediately. So
yeah, look, so obviously not the same, but a catastrophic injury that I had playing football. I had been having knee pain all of our 2 days and everything. And then in a scrimmage versus another school, I was sacking the quarterback, took a cleat to just below my kneecap. And the pain that I've been having was my patellar tendon starting to tear. That cleat hit, broke off the bone piece where the patellar tendon connects down on the lower leg. All right. So I'm dragging myself out to the sidelines. I can tell something's fucked up. And the trainer, who, mind you, when I've been going to him with knee pain, was like, it's nothing. Same thing, Motrin, ice it, whatever. And he goes over and he goes, it's just a contusion. You just hit it. And he goes like this to my kneecap. And when he lets go, you see the kneecap and everything slide up into my thigh.
Nope.
And he goes, you need to go sit on the bus. So I hobbled over to our school's bus because we weren't local and sat on there trying to call my parents on a cell phone that I had in a bag. They weren't answering. And so hours later, my mom comes and picks me up. She's like, yeah, my phone's been dead. I was like, my knees destroyed. Like, I'm just thinking the worst. I'll say this. It was a pivotal moment in my life because it felt like as a senior, like my playing days were taken away. Like I was no longer going to get to play the sport that I loved. And obviously he's younger. He's going to have the opportunity to recover. The thing is that I got very depressed, very, very depressed for a while. And then I flipped the mentality and tried to think I'm going to do like an incredible recovery from this. And I pushed myself at PT way too far, way too hard outside of PT, where it took my recovery that should have been like 12 to 16 months to almost 2 years because I fucked up. And so your son's a fighter. Malachi is a fighter. He's a good athlete. You gotta find that perfect middle ground of pushing it just enough, but not too much where it sets him back. Because he's talented and he's got a potential career ahead of him with this sort of stuff. So you got to find that good middle ground.
That's definitely our biggest fear is like, because like you just said, getting in there and him trying too hard, doing things outside of what the doctor's saying, and then further causing issue or recovery time. So we're going to try to stay on it. He's been super motivated, and I'm definitely looking out for that depression side, because just like Sherilyn had a small injury in basketball where she was out for like 3 weeks and she couldn't do shit on the court, and it was bad for her. Like she got into a really negative spell because she just wanted to compete and she felt like she was letting her team down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it definitely got to her. Luckily for Malachi in this situation, this is his off season. He usually doesn't do anything in the spring as far as sports go. His line coach is like on it, as far as like, no, we're going to get you recovered. You're going to rest. We're going to be in line with everything with the doctors, because the doctors are actually affiliated with the school. So a lot of the PT will happen at the school, at their facility. So, I think he's got the best chances and best odds for him for sure. So
good. Well, guys, I'm going to cut you off here. Love talking about Malachi and hopefully recovers. We got to get Byron in here. Byron, brother, how's it going? What you been up to? How's work? How's everything going with you, man? It seems like it's been forever since we talked.
It's definitely been a minute.
Any severe injuries?
No.
Or deaths in the family?
No. I mean, they're death all around. It's crazy. Random people from my church dying, and
oh goodness,
family, friends, and stuff like that. That's crazy. But
sorry,
stay away from the negative. I think so. Since the last time we talked, I went on a 20-year anniversary vacation with the wife to St. Croix, Virgin Islands, which was absolutely amazing.
Saw the pictures. They're beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was absolutely gorgeous. I got to drive a car on the wrong side of the road, which was terrifying as fuck for like the whole time I was there. I gained some, dexterity driving around and being okay, but as soon as new people like hopped on the island, you could tell that they were just lost as fuck driving.
Yeah.
Other than that, let's see. My company that I work for got bought out by one of the biggest aviation companies in the world. Safran. I don't know if you've heard of them at all, but they produce the CFM engine, the LEAP engine. They work with GE on joint ventures and stuff like that. So here's to a new adventure, being a supervisor in an ever-changing environment.
Hell yeah.
Are they affiliated with American Airlines?
What's that?
Are they affiliated with American Airlines?
So I mean, we do work on American airline parts.
Might be out of a job sooner than you think.
I mean, you guys were talking about flying and stuff like that, and it's like a completely different world for me hopping on an airplane. I look over at that engine. I'm like Googling, like, all right, so what type of engine does this company use, and did I possibly touch it at one point?
Do I need to get off this plane immediately?
Right.
By the way, I also used to do that job.
And all the herbal remedy stuff happened after.
After.
Of course.
There are
so did you
prove that.
Did you guys make babies?
Oh no, dude, we're way too old for that. She's spayed, so like we don't have to worry about that.
Oh, that's the permo one for sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
Things have been popping in my mind lately. Like, damn, it's been a while since my snip, and I've read some stories where that shit like fucking creeps back into place where it needs to go, and then you have
Hey.
surprise baby.
It happens
No way.
with women too
Does it?
in unexpected ways. An NCO, a former NCO of mine, who his wife was like not by choice, had fallopian tubes, cut off or whatever. They randomly got pregnant and
Damn.
went and checked, and they're like, we don't even see how the connection happened, but it happened. You're having a baby type thing. So this is like a miracle baby. So it's potential. There's a potential out there.
Hell yeah.
So it's good. Watch where you shoot your
I am
guys.
too old for that shit. I don't know if I'm the oldest one
wait a moment.
Dude.
amongst us, but fuck no.
Dude, imagine how miserable that would be though, for real. Like,
Bro, I got a kid in college and a 12-year-old. Like, there's no way. No freaking way, man. Like,
oh man.
my wife's sister came over and brought her 3 kids. Love them to death. They're great kids. But afterwards, like, both me and my wife were like, there's no way we could have ever done another baby.
I hear that. All righty. Well, fun fact of the day. I guess I'll get this out of the way. Who knows how big the Great Wall of China is?
I do, but I cheated earlier.
Yeah.
Fucking long.
My fucking
Big-
guess.
How
was
long
good,
did
though.
huh?
My
didn't it
guess
ta-
was really good.
Weren't they building it for like a
hot minute.
100 years or something like that? Like, wasn't
A
it like
hot
over
minute.
multiple dynasties?
Probably. My Chinese history is not up to snuff, nor was my knowledge of the Great Wall of China. Now, obviously, like the common trope is that you can see it from space and stuff like that. So obviously it's pretty big. 13,000 miles.
Holy
It's
fuck.
pretty impressive.
Allow me to put that in perspective. From the east coast of the US to the west coast, you're looking at about 3,000 miles. So we're looking at
Dude.
multiple Americas, many
That is
Americas.
insane.
And that's who we're going toe to toe with now. Trump and China.
China.
as well
Yeah.
as Mexico and Canada and Greenland.
Well,
No, Mexico and Canada, they got a 30-day reprieve.
Okay, all right, got it.
All right.
for now. Yeah.
Hey, it's working. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Okay. It's gonna
Maybe.
work out.
Maybe.
It's
Look,
gonna work.
for those who aren't paying attention to geopolitics, we have a new president. We're currently in the golden age, apparently. And
Yes.
and Trump has been issuing out tariffs. Something that I can Google and look at and say, I understand what it is to an extent, but I have no idea if it's actually going to have a positive effect or not, because there's a lot of good arguments on both sides why it wouldn't work. The short term right now seems like real quick Mexico and Canada are kind of getting in line with certain things. I was really scared that I was going to be seeing some insane price hike on maple syrup.
Yeah. That's about the only fucking item you get from Canada, right? Like, or
we got
Canadian
Vermont.
We
rice.
do eggs and beef.
Well, I mean, you kind of when you slaughter a whole bunch of fucking chickens, you kind of end up losing out on some eggs. You know what I mean?
I paid over $10 for a dozen eggs last night,
Yeah.
and I'm pissed. It had
Bird
Hannah-
flu, baby, or maybe tariffs.
Hannah and I had serious conversations about, do we need to get chickens?
Yes. The answer is
Look,
yes. I had
The
them
egg-
while I was in Sierra Vista.
Why
and it
would the
was worth it?
Why would the egg prices already be affected by tariffs if they haven't even really fucking hit yet? Right?
Because it's market fluctuation. People
Well,
are
sure.
anticipating things that are going to happen before that they happen, so they can be on the positive end of the money making spectrum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember spending $50 on toilet paper during COVID. All right, so
I just bought $100 bidet and called it good. Just sprayed my asshole. Look, with zero fact checking, the stuff that I've seen is that there were cases of the bird flu seen at like one farm and 2 chickens or something like that in Iowa, and they ended up killing 20 million chickens to make sure that it didn't spread. Now, dramatic, possibly. Maybe that is the necessary response to make sure that it doesn't spread. I don't know. But daddy's on a carnivore diet and I need my fucking eggs. And it's very expensive to do that now. Thank God I don't have to buy chickens yet because I got a hookup here in town with chickens. And I apparently am getting dozens of them tomorrow for fucking free, which is fantastic.
So on January 6th, there was a death, like a human death from the bird flu, the H5 avian flu.
Well, sucks to suck.
January 6th.
The
is just
fuck
an
with my egg
infamous-
prices. I don't care if you died.
Infamous day, apparently.
Yeah, if someone has to die for me to get a reasonably priced fucking omelet.
I haven't looked it all into it either. I just remember. Oops. Sorry.
God damn it, donuts.
Sorry.
Donuts.
Let's turn that ringer off. Yeah, but I'd have to actually look and see. But there was something about the Biden administration right before they left office ordering the slaughter of like 100 million chickens or something like that in the agricultural side. I don't know if it was due to flu or bird flu or things like that. There has to be some validity to it, or something, or at least some kind of angle if they literally spoke it from the White House. You know what I mean? So that maybe the action or the intent wasn't really there, but I think that event happened in some way, shape, or form. So
and you bring up Biden and leaving the White House and doing crazy things. Those fucking pardons on the day of
oh my
Dude,
the actual
fuck.
oh my god.
Yeah, on the 20th. It's tough. Like, it is easy to say there's a lot of things that kind of get pulled one way or the other depending on your political ideologies. But I don't know how more blatant it can be at that point. That's tough to argue if you are on the Democratic side. When you have Democratic officials coming out and being like, I'm not a big fan of pardoning his whole family and Fauci and all these people
Preemptively.
Right. And to me, like, if you don't have anything to hide,
Right.
why are you doing it? Now, I know the counter argument is that Trump's going to go after his political opponents, but you think that he's going to waste his time going after the Biden family? Like, his son Hunter's already pardoned. He's the fucking
Right.
one that was the problem, right? Like, I don't.
Fauci, maybe he would go after.
I could see Fauci.
That one's not going to stick. I don't think that part. Like, I think that he's going to get burned for sure.
I've heard
a lot of shit that's starting to come out.
I've heard some pundits say that they are unsure that a preemptive pardon can actually work. Also,
Right.
I've heard that actually, if you want to give Biden potentially some credit here, and it's really tough to do that because I'm not sure the guy's all there.
Who's not?
The thought process is that if these people are brought in front of court or Senate hearings or whatever, they previously could plead the fifth. They no longer are allowed to plead the fifth because you can't self-incriminate yourself for something that is no longer criminally available to charge you with. And that the thought process is that maybe Biden's last coup de grace with getting out of the office of trying to right some of the wrongs and give a big middle finger to his party that pushed him out, rightfully so, because he's not there, is to sign all these pardons where these people now can no longer take the fifth and they have to speak the truth, or they could be held criminally accountable for not speaking the truth. And the American people can find out what actually happened on January 6th or with the coronavirus. There are some conspiracies about that, and that would be pretty cool if that was the case. But I don't believe
Biden is playing the long game and is going to expose Fauci.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that is. Hey, where's my fucking tinfoil?
Here, you know what?
There we go.
I got her close by, fellas. We're good.
Yeah.
It could be. Look, he wasn't happy about not being able to run for president anymore. The party ousted him, and it could be his last shot across the bow. Who knows?
I'll say this. I don't think Biden is competent enough to play any fucking long game at all. I think it might end up being exactly what you're saying. But I'll also say this, being Trump's my homeboy. But if I was Biden, I would have pardoned my son too. I don't even blame him for it, to be honest. As far as Biden or as far as Hunter goes, a lot of people were really up in arms about it. Of course, yeah, I'm wish that wouldn't have happened, but
What I'm more upset about that with, because I get pardoning your son, like
Right.
it's your one opportunity to do that. It's the fact that he said that he wouldn't, and then
Right.
went
That's
back
the
on.
hard thing. Like if you
he
just
had
say,
to though. He had to say that.
no, he doesn't. You just don't talk about it.
Yeah, you don't say
He's
nothing.
the fucking president of the United States. He does
Yeah,
not
that's true.
have to say, no, I will not pardon him. What he can say is, we will look at that situation when that time comes.
Just like
Right.
most
If that time
presidents,
comes.
most presidents don't answer questions about JFK assassination or UFOs. But here we are,
Oh, yeah.
and it
Or
sounds like we're going to
MLK.
get a lot. Yeah,
Dude,
it
I'm
sounds
fucking
we're going to get a lot of information about that.
I'm so excited for this JFK. I wrote a report on JFK in like my senior year of high school. That was like my thesis paper. Like I just love the conspiracy theory behind JFK because I don't think that it's not a theory. I think they definitely fucking waxed that dude.
Oh, yeah.
And that was people inside the government that it. So I can't wait for that. I'm gonna pull out a whole new roll of tinfoil for when that shit.
There's a book that gets talked about quite a bit on the Joe Rogan podcast. I'm pulling it up right now to see what the name of it is. But it is like 20 years in the making by this guy who just like was talking to all sorts of people involved. It sounds extremely credible, and it goes deep into CIA involvement and,
sure.
and basically him being whacked. And I think that we're going to find out a lot about that. That look, greatest country, greatest nation in the world, but we don't have clean hands. We all know
We
that.
are wildly corrupt.
No,
Yes.
yeah. Insanely corrupt.
Yeah.
We're about to find out a lot about that. The hope is that it's far enough in the past that the American people won't then all of a sudden want like to have a coup to overthrow some of our intelligence services. I think there probably needs to be reform, but a lot of the stuff that we don't know about is probably stuff we don't want to know about because it allows us to have the life that we do have. It's shitty to say sometimes.
So I didn't really have a topic, but Evo, you just kind of sparked a thought in my mind as we're talking about this intelligence community.
Are we
all
about
the
to
things
talk
that
about
are
the
changing.
Spice Channel? Oh,
No, we're not. But Snowden.
Snowden.
Edward
I am
Snowden.
of the ilk that what he did is illegal, and he should pay a punishment for what he did. But I believe that punishment has been fucking paid, and what he truly did is actually a great act of service to the American people. I know a lot of people don't agree with me, but some people I just don't understand why we're still trying to prosecute this man when he just all he did was shed a light on this corrupt shit that now everybody's willing to stare in the face and say, no, this cannot go on anymore.
Yeah, it is. It's a tough situation because in the time when it happened, not legal. However,
Correct.
The whistleblower protections and things like that aren't the same then as they are now. And can you really trust it when you probably know stuff about the organizations, the CIA that you work for, where they will just whack a person?
Right.
Like, it's an interesting situation. At this point,
Like JFK?
I do believe that he probably should be pardoned. But I'm not knowledgeable enough at all. I didn't watch the movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt or whatever the fuck it is. So I couldn't tell you.
Matt, what do you got?
Yeah,
I know that he's definitely an anti-Republican guy.
No, I don't. I kind of sit with you, Mike. Like, they definitely have to be punishment, right? Because even though what he did like can be looked at as shining light, giving bringing to light some corruption that needed to be brought to light, and if he wouldn't have, probably would have never happened, right? But if you don't punish acts like that, well, then those acts continue to happen, and the result isn't in favor of the American people. You know what I mean? Or it's just, yeah, the punishments have to still be enacted, even
Doing the
though the
wrong
outcome is
thing for
good.
the right reason.
Right.
Right.
You know, and that's just the way it goes. That's just the way it goes. But I do think that as far as like paying the price, there is an end to that. Paying the price, of course, you know, or a pardon.
It's not
or
JFK,
whatnot.
is it?
No.
And look, speaking of paying the price, before we jump into probably more political shit, I do have one story of a fall from grace and how America truly provides opportunities for those to have second chances. And I have no idea how I missed this news story from the past. Ex San Antonio Police Department officer who was fired for giving a homeless man a feces sandwich was rehired by the Benavides Police Department in Texas. You heard that right. Fed a homeless man a feces sandwich as a cop. He picked up dog poop, put it between bread, put it in a styrofoam box, and laid it next to a homeless guy with the intention of allowing him to eat shit. Back in 2016, Matthew Luckhurst, that is the name of the officer who did this, picked up feces, placed it in a slice of bread, put it in a styrofoam container, gave it to a homeless guy. Was a 5-year veteran of the San Antonio Police Department. When he was found to have done this, was gloating to other officers about it, had been fired. He then got rehired by the Benavides Police Department. And then people found out about it and got really pissed.
As they should.
and I believe the ultimate result of this was that he was released from employment, and then he was rehired on as a peace officer for the Benavides Police Department. And the police department has put out statements saying that, you know, they have a commitment to giving individuals a second chance and to demonstrate their dedication to public service. I just wonder how many second chances they want to give to other crimes and whatnot, you know, like being black in public and, you know, maybe smoking marijuana, which marijuana is not a legal substance in Texas. I'm sure all their cops are like, we want to give all of you guys second chances. We don't want to put you in the prison system.
No, they give everybody those equal opportunities. This is the golden age, Evo. Don't you
It is the
know?
golden age.
Yes,
It is.
yeah. So look, sometimes you can come back from eating shit, or at least making someone else eat shit. You do the time for the crime, and then you can come back and be all right.
Look, I'll say this: some of
ahead.
those homeless people are really fucking mean. All right,
Yeah.
dude. I don't know if I brought this story up before, but I tried to give a homeless person warm coffee and a sandwich. I think it was like Thanksgiving in Sierra Vista, in Huachuca City. I mean, not with Sierra Vista. At that gas station, he was down in like had his little hut down in the ditch. Oh fuck! And there goes one of my headphones. Bro, he chased me out of that motherfucker with a stick. He's like, I don't want your shit coffee. It's like, maybe he met that cop. Maybe he got shitty coffee from
Maybe.
a fucking dirty cop.
And look, I think there's probably a lot of service members who hear this story and they start doing one of these, like remembering throwing out Gatorade piss bottles out of fucking up armored vehicles and or MREs bags that they had shit in, and watching kids freak the fuck out thinking that they're getting some candy or a nice drink. And it turns out to be not so nice.
Not so nice.
I
Never
did
done that. Never
No.
have done that. But I've heard the stories.
Yeah.
I was never in a position where I could do that. I don't believe.
Bro, I saw a kid eat an MRE heater before. That was frightening.
No, the
Like-
closest that I think that I've been on
That's fucking
convoys.
funny, dude.
I've been on convoys. I haven't seen that happen yet. The interaction that I had with Afghan kids was going outside of the Hesco walls where there's only a chain link fence in between me and the Afghan village that we're next to, and having kids walk by and go, "You look like shit. You look like shit." And me giving it right back to them. "Hey, fuck you, little punks."
That's
Like that sort of shit. And then watching an elder come out and beat the living fuck out of him with a switch. That was cool. That's what you get.
See, that's
what
how
you
you
get.
raise young men. That's
Absolutely.
how you do it. They need to get beat. We're going to get more of that in this country, too.
We're in the golden age of America,
we
Matt.
are.
We're bringing it back.
Speaking of the golden age, you said something, and I'm going to have to kind of correct you, but you're right. Weed is not legal in Texas. However, would you guys like to have a small science lesson about weed?
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's go.
THCA is the precursor to THC. It can be bought in its rare form, in that raw form, basically anywhere in the United States, including the state of Texas. The way that THC is activated or changes its chemical compound is by being lit on fire. So when THCA, which is completely legal to walk around with a fucking joint, is then lit on fire, the resulting chemical is THC. However, the only way you could test for that would be to actually take it from the burning thing. So, yes, weed is not legal in Texas. However, weed is basically legal in the entire United States because of THCA and a loophole that the United States government basically wants to be there.
That's good to know.
Well, it's kind of like the what is it? The Delta 8, 9, and 10. Like,
yeah, so they
just
are
learned about the difference
variations
between those. Yeah.
THCA is the shit that you buy at medical marijuana places. Because the active THC is not higher than 0.3, it's legal. It's a massive loophole. Weed is basically legal in the entire United States.
Well, once I don't have to piss test, because I'm sure that that's still in your urine.
Oh, it will be. Yeah. Well, it turns to THC. Yes, you will 100% test positive for smoking pot.
What blew me away was that, you hear about psychedelics like mushrooms and you just hear, psilocybin, and that is illegal pretty much everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But that isn't the only psychedelic mushroom out there. And you can buy that shit at Walmart. You can buy other psychedelics at Walmart. Other mushrooms, man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
Lion's mane.
But you can buy other ones. We'll talk after the show.
Yeah, this is for Patreon.
Oh man,
yeah.
I made a comment today at work that it's been 3.5 years since I started at my job and I haven't been piss tested yet. That probably changes tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
Sorry if everybody's getting a piss test now.
Thanks a lot.
Wanted to let everybody know. There's only 4 states that still have it banned: Arkansas, Idaho. I'm sorry, I can't fucking count. Arkansas, Idaho,
Alabama,
Minnesota, Oregon, and Rhode Island.
They're the ones that have it banned.
Banned.
I'm pretty sure you can smoke weed in Minnesota. I believe that was a thing like back when I was in college that they legalized.
So these places have a restriction on THCA products.
Oh, THCA.
Yes.
Okay.
So, like, if they have recreational marijuana or whatever the fuck that they're doing, but THCA you can basically get anywhere, and as soon as you light that shit on fire, it's weed.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really looked into it out here.
As you shouldn't, Matt. As a upstanding citizen. Listen, I'm a college student who is experimenting and learning about.
Hey, I don't have a problem with it at all.
I've never experimented before.
Right.
That's how I don't know that those psychedelics get out of your system in about 72 hours and show up as food poisoning.
Perfect.
Here we go. All right, guys. So let's get into the topic that we kind of prefaced a little bit earlier. We've talked about air travel a couple times. I have a couple buddies who work in ATC. One works at Dallas Fort Worth Tower. The other works at Kansas City Center. I had to make sure I texted them and asked if it was safe to fly a plane. The response I got was, "You should be all right." Anybody trying to go on a plane anytime soon?
Nope.
I
Not anymore.
don't have any plans, but I'm not scared to.
Right.
That look, the odds are just of getting in an aviation incident like what we've seen in very recent past few weeks.
4 days in a row, I think.
Like that's rough, but you know there's going to be sweeping changes to try to make things better. Also, it's like you have better odds of getting shot by just walking down the street in Chicago than you do probably from a aviation incident like that. Not to make any light of like how bad those incidents are, they're fucking terrible. But the general public probably shouldn't be that much more concerned about that sort of an aviation incident taking place just because we've had a rash of it.
That's true. You're still safer in a plane than you are in a car.
Yeah,
True.
So,
very much so.
I can.
But
but
attest.
it is fucking wild, ain't it? Like,
Dude,
fuck.
so
God.
I'm gonna bring up a tough subject, but what the fuck is going on with the UH-60 pilot? What?
Ooh. I was about to bring that up.
Get that tinfoil hat back out.
God.
Yeah.
Anybody know what happened? What's going on? I mean,
The only
She
thing
worked for
ahead.
Biden.
I did see that.
Yeah, she worked for the Biden administration. She
I
was
seen
like,
there was a video of her, like she was the one who handed out the fucking Freedom Cross or the whatever medal it was. What's the highest civilian medal you can get?
a Medal of Freedom, I believe, is what it's called.
Something like that.
A stiff high five
Yeah.
and a pizza party.
She's definitely a Biden supporter for sure.
I've also refrained from looking at any of that sort of stuff because I just don't want to find out that it's some sort of conspiracy that I can latch onto. I've got enough conspiracies in my life as is. I'm just focused on RFK, JFK, and MLK, and all the other
Yeah.
Ks, and aliens and shit, which fucking interests me more. The stuff that I have seen, and obviously still being in the aviation realm and everything, is that it looks like the Black Hawk was flying, was not supposed to go above a hard deck, I believe, of 200 feet.
200.
yeah.
And it was at 325. They crossed paths with the plane at 300. It was at night, and there's question whether or not they were actually using night vision devices or not. Which some helicopter training involves flying under those optics, some involves not doing that. Which it seems like it would be really slow to do that. It also sounds like there were not near misses, but there were definitely issues in the days leading up to this event during even the daytime with those helicopters passing too close to other aircraft. We have aviation backgrounds. We know about, required distances that planes have to be apart from one another. And obviously, or not just planes, but other aircraft, they were far too close. There were supposed to be 2 air traffic controllers working that situation at the same time. There was only one. Different things. It sounds like, as with most aviation incidents, it isn't just a single failure. There's a multitude of failures, and then they all happen to chance at the right time and create catastrophe.
Now, I wonder, has anybody seen, because I had seen maybe some rumors, were they doing, this was a training flight? Was this an RL progression? Was this a split cockpit flight that caused maybe a miscommunication because you got somebody flying, you have somebody evaluating when a UH-60 is supposed to be co-pilot?
I know that the female pilot was the pilot in command, that the warrant officer, and she was a captain, the warrant officer, CW2, was an IP. I don't know if he was acting as an instructor pilot at that time. And then obviously there was a crew chief on board as well, I believe, staff sergeant.
Yeah, I haven't heard much on that, and I'm trying not to follow any of the conspiracies either, because in reality, I mean, it's just such a terrible situation, like altogether. I also read something that is like the radar on the ATC's radar. They actually had the helicopter reading at like 200 feet, but he was actually at 325. I don't know if that was an error or maybe I misheard it.
I mean, if you put in the wrong,
altimeter.
Oh, dude, any altimeter settings are off.
Yeah, the codes and stuff, like, we have some of that knowledge from our aviation background. Depending on your IFF codes and mode C and things like that, mode C gives out altitudes. And if they had put in something wonky there, or maybe they had put incorrect information in their system, their altimeter, which
Maybe.
was giving the Black Hawk a incorrect altitude reading, and then through the mode C transponder that was being sent to ATC and showing ATC, oh, they're at this altitude, they're okay. Who knows?
That would make more sense because a lot of them,
at those low altitudes, from what I understand, ATC's radar and their ability to detect altitude on its own just by radar without the IFF or anything, it becomes extremely diminished. That below 1,000 feet, their ability to tell the exact altitude that you're at is pretty rough. It's
right, it's gonna be reported
higher that they can
altitude.
tell. Yeah, it'll be reported from the aircraft rather than what radar is picking up. Again, I don't know. Obviously, it's a real shitty situation. A lot of loss of life. I think what they said, it was the worst air traffic incident that we've had in the United States in like 20 years.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that a bunch more information will come out about it. I don't want to believe at this point that the Black Hawk was being remotely piloted, because those rumors are fucking out there.
Oh,
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I couldn't see that now.
That's a little far fetched. We don't need to have that amount of tinfoil. It is a tough situation. And then we saw another one, the medical flight. That
one is actually more conspiracy for me. Look at that video, dude. Like
it smacked the ground.
Bro, that shit came
so
in
hard.
like a rocket.
Yeah, nobody could have been piloting that at the end, I feel like.
I'm definitely curious to see what information they pull from that one.
Either way, I mean, the loss of life is terrible. It's a terrible, terrible thing. But
did they report the casualties from that second one? I
think it was 6. Oh, from which flight?
From the second one, the medevac.
I think it was only like 6 people.
Yeah.
But I heard something that there was at least one pediatric patient or something like that was being transported.
That was
right. Pediatric patient and a family member.
Yeah. Fuck, dude. So rough.
Yeah. It can all go by in an absolute fucking second, man. Scary.
Yeah.
How do we expect to go to fucking Mars when we can't get our planes under control here?
Well, Elon's building those rockets.
Yeah, ask for not that one. Hold on. Ask autistic Hitler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the wave that he did there?
A fucking joke, dude. Like, it's the people that are going after him, they're just like you latch on to anything and everything you fucking can. Like, clearly he's not fucking doing a salute to the ring. Like he's definitely autistic, right? He fucking made a hand gesture, like to sit there and try.
My heart goes out to you, but with a lot of fucking emphasis.
Right,
a lot.
And did he say Kyle?
Yeah, I thought it.
I think if everyone is honest, you look back in your past, you've probably made gestures without even knowing it that end up becoming something more than it is. What was the whole gate thing with the white power thing that the one guy accidentally did?
Okay, yeah, with white power
and then all of a sudden I was like, holy shit, they're coming after me because I fucking did like what? I never in my wildest dreams would I have assumed that was white power, but then people are getting hemmed up for it.
Right.
Like there's stupid things that you might either be culturally unaware of or just not even noticing that you happen to do, which was appropriated in the past by extremely bad people.
Yeah.
Now, when you're in the public spectrum, like he's probably got to be a lot more aware of that and of what he's doing, but he gets pretty giddy when he's up on stages, it seems like.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
He enjoys a crowd.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, no, that's all. I mean, honestly, I think that the only thing that the liberal media does whenever they try to push that kind of stuff is further tarnish their reputability. Like it just nothing. There's no fucking way that could have been it. You know what I mean? they're trying too hard with it.
I mean, I think there's a way it could be it, but the likelihood is probably less than a percentage point.
I would say less than a half of like a decimal point of it. You know what I mean? Like it's, but
And here's the thing: if it were that, what a terrible time to spring that on, like the country. Like,
Right.
hey, by the way, I'm not going to do it. I don't, because I don't want this to get clipped from at any point.
put that hand down, Mike. Put that
Yeah.
fucking hand down.
Off camera.
Yeah,
Off camera. You want to
yeah. Exactly.
Sometimes you just
I'm
got to write
grabbing
it down.
something over here. Like it's, it's a wild scenario, dude.
Yeah.
I don't
But
think
look-
it was. I don't think that was the intent.
I think that both sides have all of a sudden gotten real bullish with certain things. Because look, I keep hearing stuff about, oh, Trump deserves a third term now and they're going to put in legislation for it. That is not how this country should work. That is not how this democracy should work.
Fuck no.
I don't care if you
No.
think that he got the last election stolen from him or not. It is what it is. Es lo que es. Fucking move on. We can't be talking about this shit because that sort of rhetoric is the exact thing that scares a lot of Democratic people, a lot of people who are in the middle on stuff, hearing like,
should rightfully scare them, right? You're like, oh
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
let's
of
fucking
course.
go again.
yeah, that's the
Hell
stuff
no,
that
dude.
I think like good Republicans out there were the ones all along saying, no, that won't happen because that is not how our political system works. You
Right.
don't need to be scared of Trump being a dictator and taking over forever, except for the rumblings of it are happening more, and that shit needs to be shut down by the right.
It won't be shut down because that's the point. You control through fear, right? I mean, that if it's working, then they're not going to let go of it. You know what I'm saying?
It's coming. Some of it is coming from the right, though, Matt. That's the
Yeah.
problem, and that party needs to shut that rhetoric down. They have a very good opportunity after this 4 years to have a guy like JD Vance continue being the red leader, fucking on the
Yeah.
right side of the aisle.
And I'm down
and
for
Watch
it.
continue
that
to be
hand,
president.
Evo. I saw you. Watch that
Yeah.
hand.
No, we're just gonna go like this.
Yeah.
There is
Yeah, look at them arms, dude.
There is possible. No, I'm not even flexing, bitch. Don't get me started. I'm going to the gym after this.
I was gonna
And-
say they're
and
looking
shame
small.
on you, Dave, for going gym time instead of being here with your boys. I get it though. It's like church for me. But like that, I think both sides need to rein themselves in if we want to have any sort of progress going forward. That being said, the amount of shit that's changing in this country in the past couple weeks is pretty wild. Like I've seen it already in my government job, for better or worse. All of the LGBTQIA stuff in the Department of Defense gone, to the point that they have extra duty, like being assigned to people to go through every government building. And if there is any shred of that stuff, it is getting pulled down. We've received our email saying you are no longer allowed to put in your signature block your pronouns. Not allowed anymore.
Ooh.
Things like that. Which I
Seem
feel
pretty upset about it, Evo.
I feel multiple different ways. Well, look, if you look at some of my stuff out there on the interwebs, I put my pronouns as he, him, and hey fuckface because I think it's funny. But like also, if someone wants to put their pronouns on their email signature block, I don't give a fuck. And I
Right.
don't think it makes that person any better, any worse. I don't think it makes the organization any better, any worse. It's when it starts bleeding out from more than just a signature block and being like, you have to call me fucking Mrs. Princess Kitty because I identify as a fucking cat so I can go shit in my litter box. That's a fucking problem, right?
Of course.
To me, because it has nothing to do with professional work environment at that point.
Well, and
That's
you
the
know,
sort of stuff that I think that we need to tamp down, get rid of. But I also don't want anybody that, because I have friends, we all know people who are gay, lesbian, bisexual, maybe even some trans out there. All right. Just a smattering of fucking this and that everywhere. And for the most part, I think that they're good people, right?
right.
I don't have a
course.
problem. And I don't want them to feel like there's some sort of personal attack. But it feels like the pendulum now is swinging the other way. And in
Hard.
some ways, it is probably unnecessarily going that far.
Well, I think the real thing that people on the left, especially, are up in arms about is they look at this as such a personal attack to trans, because you really what it boils down to is the trans part of it. The LGB still exists, right? It's everything after the B when it comes to the military is going away, and the reasoning that the left will make you seem is because we hate trans or whatever it is. But in reality, you can't have. Well, what's the point of letting trans people join in the military? They can't deploy. They can't do any of those things. That's the reason behind it. The reason
That's
behind
the
it is
thing.
there's no it's nothing personal against people who are trans. It's why the only reason why you join the military is so that you can defend the country, so that you can be deployable, that so that you can go and do these tasks. You can't do them if you require medication. You can't fucking join the army if you're a diabetic. There's a whole slew of fucking things that keep you from being able to join the military. And it's not because we don't like you because you're trans. It's because I need to be able to count on
Fight
you
and
in the
win
field
the nation's wars.
and not worry about whether or not you took your fucking hormone medication that morning, or that you got it delivered to you on time because you're in a place that we can't get medication to. You know what I mean? If you can't deploy, then you shouldn't be in the army, or you shouldn't be in the military, period. And that's
Matt, I agree. If you can't fight and win the nation's wars, you don't have a place there. That
right.
is your only job, bro.
And there's plenty of places in the government outside of being in the military that you can put forth your service.
There's
your
other
country.
civil service out there. Yes,
exactly.
I struggle with it because I want there to be that inclusivity in the military. Like, I am proud of the inclusivity that there is.
Right.
But when it comes to situations like that, it is tough. You wouldn't this wouldn't be a conversation with a paraplegic that wants to go and become an Army Ranger, right?
Right. Exactly.
If you're wheelchair bound, you obviously can't do that job.
Yeah.
But just because you're wheelchair bound doesn't mean that you can't be of service to your country, have civil service, things like that. It just has to be in a different fashion, because it's just a cold, hard truth of the situation is that, unfortunately, you are not going to be able to go do an Army PT test.
Right.
Even with the additional events or separate events because of your disability. So in that case, and that's part of the problem.
Boils down to.
But that's part of the problem, is that they don't want to be labeled as having a disability. Because is it a disability, or is it a choice, or is it?
There is a standard, and that's all that we should be talking about, is the standard, right? The standard is you have to be able to meet these certain requirements, and one of those requirements is the ability to deploy, to do your job downrange. If you cannot meet that standard, you do not belong in that job.
Right.
Now, and I'm not a Trump guy. I think anybody who knows me knows that. But I agree with some of the things that he's kind of doing, because it should just be the fucking standard.
Right.
If there's one standard, and you meet it or you don't. If you don't meet the standards, you can't do the job. If you do meet the standard, you can do it. I don't care if you're LGBTQ, whatever, doesn't matter, color, DEI, none of that. The standard is the fucking standard. If you set one standard and keep it, anybody above it is allowed to do it. If you're below it, you can't. That's the way life fucking goes.
Right.
Now,
100% agree.
That is just speaking purely in the military, but has it gone too far in other aspects of government? I know someone that I went to high school with who is a biological male, and I don't know exactly. I feel bad calling it their situation. I know they're married to a woman, but this person, biological male, tends to go back and forth between which gender they are. On their driver's license, it did not say M. It did not say F. It had an X on there. At some point in time, that takes up some sort of taxpayer dollars, government resources, things like that, in order to add something. Like, we've seen this all the time, how much money goes into just renaming things, right? Renaming posts. Obviously, that's expensive. But that person has had to go since the election and have their driver's license changed back to their biological gender. I don't know why that should matter. Like, to some extent, The driver's license is to allow you to operate a motor vehicle. What does what you have between your legs define
Right.
whether or not you
So
can operate a motor
What's the
vehicle?
purpose? What's the purpose of having your gender
Why does-
on a driver's
why do
license,
they-
anyways?
Why do they have to get it changed
True.
though?
I apparently, and again, I don't know, and this was in Minnesota, which is a very liberal state, but apparently there was some sort of requirement put out where they had to get it changed. I don't know.
I mean,
know
why?
there was something about Trump putting out that only your birth gender is going to be recognized. So like people with passports and stuff like
That's
that.
what I
that
heard
have-
was the passports. I don't know about
Yeah.
And
driver's
maybe it wasn't the driver's license, maybe it was a passport. I don't know. I only partially noticed. But either way, like there's some aspects where I think that it has probably gone too far and isn't really necessary. I don't know because like in that aspect, I'm very much a libertarian where it's you can do whatever you want to do as long as you don't expect me to follow along with whatever you want. Like you can call yourself whatever you want to be. You can think you're a boy, you're a girl, you're a cat, whatever, but you can't expect me to also go along with that to some extent. And whatever you want to have on your driver's license or passport or whatever, I don't really care that much because it doesn't affect me directly. And I think in that instance, I feel like it's probably gone a little bit too far. It feels like a personal attack to a lot of those people. The only other real big comment that I have on that is I don't know if anyone watched the most recent Joe Rogan episode with Theo Vaughn on it, but I had quite a laugh on one of my drives to Colorado listening to that because they were going through all the different things that the plus stands for to include Two-Spirit. And when Joe said Two-Spirit, what the fuck is that? And Vaughn goes, they count the Native Americans now? I lost it.
Oh my gosh.
Uh,
Theo Vaughn is a fucking character for sure,
Yeah,
dude.
he's a blessing to America.
He really
I
is.
do like Theo. I do like Theo. Man.
Yeah, that's tricky. You know, I get it from both sides, and you know, the I don't want to offend people that I know steps in and wants to say the same thing, Evo, as far as you know, why does it matter? But at the same time, it's like, I mean, what we have our names, our social security numbers. Do they still do that on our dog tags? You know, they have
No.
our blood type, whatever, you know, your identifications for your identification. Maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know.
I get those things for the military. Like
Right.
the military, I think it's a life and death business. It is a protection
Anywhere
of your-
else, it shouldn't matter. And they're going, I agree, Evo, that they are going too far, that you're not allowed to recognize. Dude, if somebody wants to be called he, they, and I refer to them as the wrong thing, but oh, you know what? My bad, man. They. And I'll refer to them
Right.
as what they'd like to be called because it's respectful. Treat people the way they'd like to be treated, and they'll probably treat you the same way in kind.
Unless
I
they're
got
being
no
a
problem
cunt.
with that.
Then I don't.
Right.
If they're being a cunt about it,
Well, then treat them in kind. Then treat them like a miserable cunt. Like
then suck my dick from the back.
yes, but like so when it's getting rid of all of that, that is too much for me. When it comes to the military, and I am very much the standard is the standard. You either meet it or you don't. But everything else, like if people want to live their lives that way, then yes, does it make them happy? Cool. Wouldn't more happy fucking people be a better thing?
Great.
Well, you know, and I think it also comes down to the fact though that if they were to leave it that way, then that's also them saying, yeah, we acknowledge that there are more than two genders. You know what I mean? Like they're kind of forced to have to stick to this kind of policy as far as not allowing like your birth or gender has to be
Yeah,
on there
so-
because we
You
only
make a good
have two.
point.
You can call yourself whatever you want. You know what I mean? We don't give a shit. But as far as recognition goes, you're either this or this, and you can't. Coming from the stance of a Republican sitting on that side of the fence, you have to acknowledge that I'm not going to force you to think whatever you want about who you are, but you're definitely not going to force anyone else to go along with your mind games, right? And whatever's going on in your mind. You're just telling Evo about your buddy who, or your, you know, a childhood friend or colleague or whatever who goes back and forth. Like they don't know what their gender is back and forth. You trying to tell me that's not a mental issue? You know what I mean? Like that.
I think that's a greater discussion to have. It's
Well,
one that we're
yeah,
never going to get to
sure.
the bottom of. I think like everything, it's in the gray. I think there's probably some people who have,
Well,
you know, a disorder where they truly don't know, and there's some people who are making a choice.
like what kind of disorder though? A mental disorder, right?
Yeah, I can't think of the name of what it
Right.
is.
Chemical
Gender
imbalance.
dysphoria. Gender dysphoria.
Sure.
Dysmorphia.
Yeah. And that's what it really comes down to. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I really don't give a shit what people want themselves to be called. I'm in the same boat with you, Mike, where it's like I'm never gonna go out of my way to disrespect somebody, you know, unless you fucking deserve it, of course. But
Yeah,
yeah,
unless you're acting like a, you know.
right. But you don't have to be a trans for that. I fucking do it to, you know,
Yeah.
a cis white man too, you know, so that irrelevant.
And look,
Well,
there's probably a lot of things even beyond this that we're seeing. The baby's being thrown out with the bathwater in situations. DEI, which is something that I like. I hate the term DEI. And there's a lot of instances where DEI has been used in really bad ways. You put people in positions of power who don't have the merit to be there. I think that we should be much more of a meritocracy as far as a society, but also you want to do things to help impoverished sections or you know, people who are unable to achieve certain jobs and positions. We want to help them get it, but at the end of the day, a lot of jobs require a merit-based system. However, DEI, I think what a lot of people don't look at is DEI is simple things like adding accessibility ramps for people in wheelchairs to buildings and stuff like that. That generally falls into DEI. It's providing equal opportunity for people in certain situations where otherwise it's like, hey, too bad there's stairs here, you can't get in this building now. Like that stuff fits into DEI
does that
programs.
not fall under ADA?
It does as well, but ADA is in many ways considered a DEI type of program.
Right, but it still
Inclusion.
exists. It still
Inclusion.
exists without DEI. So you know what I mean? Just like before DEI.
Well, DEI is a catchphrase. It's not an actual program. It's a
Okay.
catch-all. It's a catch-all catchphrase.
Right.
Where the ADA is something that can be considered a DEI program, a DEI style program, but DEI isn't like a government mandate or something like that. It's just a catchphrase, and the catchphrase is being that DEI is going to be removed. And I think that it's way too much of a catch-all. Like there needs to be a lot more nuance with this situation.
I mean, do you guys think that they're going to be getting rid of wheelchair ramps and not allowing them to be built because of this?
I don't think so.
No,
But
I
you
don't think so
have
either.
extremes that happen all the time, which is unfortunate. Just like extremes with DEI, where you
Right.
have you know, the guy that gets brought up all the time with all these airplane crashes that was put under the Biden administration that didn't know shit about aviation, like the transportation commission guy or whatever.
Yeah,
That didn't know shit about
FAA
aviation.
director.
Yeah, couldn't answer shit. Like maybe that was a DEI hire and it probably wasn't a fucking good one, right?
Right.
But like, who knows? It's like, I think that again, both sides need to quit leaning to the extremes on things and understand there's a lot of nuance with all this, and we can't just completely throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Ooh, brother, I think we're about well past that. If I gotta be honest, man, we are not that pendulum's still rocking way the fuck up. It is not on the downswing yet.
No, it's not for sure. I think that I think that I don't think that, especially when talking about DEI, that it's as that it's actually swinging that hard. You know what I mean? Those are really heavy talking points, and those are the pieces of DEI, like you brought up, that people that are against it bring up heavily because that's the only thing they can fight against. Well, what about this and what about that? It's like there's been no talk of getting rid of any of that. If they're getting rid of DEI and DEI isn't an actual program, well, then they're just getting rid of all the fake bullshit that's been created by these companies to cause these problems. In my opinion, I don't think that as far as the ADA goes or anything like that, I don't think we're going to see any change to anything about that.
That would be my hope, is that it just gets rid of the frivolous stuff,
right?
You know, but we know that when it comes to these things happening, it always reaches extremes that it was never intended to.
Well, and Matt,
And that's why LA is fucking smoking smoldering pit. Apparently.
somebody told me
faucets are
today
on.
that was because of AI, and I swear to God, somebody literally told me that today in college.
What, that
The
LA
reason
burned
that
down?
California burned down was because of AI, and you shouldn't use AI because OpenAI apparently uses water, and water could have saved California. I don't know what the fuck the logic was.
I thought it
gotta
was because
get-
of some fucking fish.
Bro, you
Dude,
got to get out of that
I-
school, bro. You got to fucking
Amber
get out
was
of that
sitting right
house.
next to me, and I just stayed looking down. I was like,
I heard it was some ecological program that they needed to divert the water to save some fucking smelt or something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that.
I don't know what it was, but I can tell you that AI didn't cause the wildfires, and it's totally okay to use.
Or
Or it actually is.
this is Terminator, and
Skynet.
Skynet is activated and is doing some weird shit.
That's fucking
So we don't
funny.
catch on. Yes, it's the fish where you were saving the fish, and that's why LA is on fire.
Dude, I have heard some of the wildest shit I have heard in my entire life since Trump got elected, and I have been in college classes. It has been some of the most. I didn't believe people when they talked about it the first time when Trump got elected in the college campus lifestyle and the things that were said and talked about, and just the fucking cavalier manner in which people say things. It actually it's kind of shocking. I thought it was overblown. Dude, I had somebody tell me like communism wasn't that bad. Trump is Hitler, by the way. I don't know if you guys know that Hitler murdered 11 million people. So if you think that Trump is Hitler, why are you just sitting here in college and not stopping Trump from murdering the maybe 11 million people?
Don't
But
say
I
that.
digress.
Don't say that, because that's how you get a guy on a slightly sloped roof that is
Yeah.
taking shots at you.
Yeah.
Slightly
You are
Slightly, yeah.
inciting a riot right now,
Oh.
Mike.
Yeah.
God,
Dude.
look, we could spend all day sitting here talking
Yeah,
about
we
this shit,
can.
but I know that we have to fucking wrap this up at some
We
point.
do.
So
Yeah,
I have
we do.
one question for you guys, I think, probably before we end up wrapping out of here. On Sunday, we have a big championship football game that we can't name that's going on. Is anyone going to parties, outings, things like that, going to go watch with friends?
I
yeah.
am going over to a friend's house for the Super Bowl. Superb Owl.
Yes, the Superb Owl.
Going
Or
to
the big
Scotty
game.
Herdstrom's house.
Oh man, I miss those parties.
It's going to be a
But
good
look,
shindig.
what is everyone's favorite championship game food that you can bring or have at one of these events?
Vagine.
They serve pussy
I'm going with
at
that.
her
Dude, chili. Fucking chili.
chili.
That's
All right.
what I like.
Just a bowl of chili, or are you like a chili dog man? Or
No. I mean, I do like the shape, but no, chili with Fritos, scooping it up, sour cream, cheese, the whole 9 yards, some onion.
Ginger, how about you? You going to a championship game party, and what's your favorite snack?
Ooh, I don't know if I'm going. Mike, are you having anything?
So we are going over to CJ's.
Oh, so then no, I'm probably not doing anything. And I usually like smoke a pork butt. That's kind of my go-to.
I think that's what I'm going to be doing, is smoking a pork butt for this one, and making some pulled pork sandwiches or sliders or something like that. Mike?
I think my go-to is gonna always be a buffalo chicken dip.
Oh yeah, I can't go
Oh,
wrong
God.
with that.
We had some of that
Yeah,
yesterday.
Block of
Fuck.
cream cheese, some fucking ranch, sweet baby
Yeah.
Ray's buffalo sauce, fucking cheddar cheese. Dump that all in there. Boil your chicken. Fucking you can do it however you want. I
You
like
get
mine.
canned chicken.
Yeah.
You can do the canned chicken. I like to just boil my chicken and then fucking shred it with the mixer because it's way easier. Stir all that shit together and have some Tostitos, baby. Not a sponsor, could be.
Oh, yeah.
I feel it. I love it. I love it. But look, while recently I've been big into smoking the pork belly and making like pork belly burnt ends and stuff like that for events, it is expensive. It's a little bit like I just get down to the grassroots and get them little weenies, little weenies in the barbecue sauce, little
Yeah.
smokies.
Smokies.
I can-
Yeah.
I can smash a fucking entire pot of little smokies, I think, if it was sitting in front of me, just hammering them with the fucking toothpick over
Do
an
you
entire
only go
thing.
barbecue sauce, or do you do a barbecue and a buffalo?
I typically it's been a barbecue sauce for me. I've heard other weird things of like jelly.
Yeah.
grape
jalapeno
jelly and
jelly.
barbecue sauce.
Never
Ooh,
done
grape
that one.
jelly.
I've
Yeah,
never
grape-
done that.
Grape jelly.
But-
It's delicious.
But I'm
I have
open
had it
to
with
the
jelly.
opportunity. Any way I can get a little wiener in my mouth. And that's the episode of the talk, gentlemen.
Yeah, let's wrap it up right there, guys. Hey, we're gonna hang on after this because we're gonna talk about when we're doing the next one of these motherfuckers, so we can lock that down. Because the people need more of these. I know I need more of these. Guys, it was a great talk.
Hell yeah.
It was, man, a lot of shit that we talked about. A lot of bad things that have happened recently. A lot of good things, depending on who you are and what you believe. No matter what you do, though, be good to each other. Call your buddies, talk to your friends. That's what this show kind of will hopefully continue to be. But guys, any final words before we sign off of here?
Hey, if you feel bad about things that are going on right now with all the tragedies, go donate blood. I can always use more blood. I went and donated blood today. Go donate blood if you can, if you have AIDS. Ugh. But if you can, donate blood.
Mad
Donate
cow
a little bit of your
disease.
time. Mad cow? You have mad cow?
No, that's
No,
I literally cannot donate blood because I lived in Europe.
Not a thing anymore. Not
Really?
a thing anymore.
it used to be a thing. I lived in
Yeah.
Europe too. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's I had checked because I had a buddy that said they couldn't donate blood, and I checked with the phlebotomists at the what is it called? I can't even remember where I donated blood today. Red Cross, American Red Cross, and they said, yeah, we stopped doing that a while ago. It's not a thing anymore.
Go
Maybe
get
I'll go
blood.
donate.
Yeah, or a semen sample if you want. They're really into that.
Sweet.
Oh yeah. Blood's like fucking dump trucks. All right, guys, we're getting the fuck out of here. Ginger, you got anything else, Matt?
No. I love you guys.
Love you
Yeah.
guys too. Guys, this is the talk. We'll talk to you next time.
See ya.
Hard work, work. There you go.